One Percenter Podcast with Sam Bakhtiar, bringing you the 1% knowledge to help you reach your full potential. Learn what it takes to rise above the 99% and become a 1%er.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Sam Bakhtiar, your host of a 1%er Podcast. And oh my God, I've been chasing this guy, Chase, for such a long time for being on a podcast. We've been friends and known each other for a while now. And man, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. An honor. Respect. Seriously.
Bro, I know your schedule is crazy. I know you're out there just killing it. And for you to take the time just to come here, spend a few hours with me and being on a podcast, it's just been incredible.
Anytime.
You know, I knew that you had some trouble in the past.
Yep.
But I really, before you came in, I dug deep in your past.
Yep.
And bro, you're the fucked up motherfucker.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, to know that someone like you have gone through so much shit in life.
Yep.
And now I see you as such a successful man. And I mean, what I mean by successful man is, of course, you got all the material things. You've done hundreds of millions of dollars on e-commerce. You know the exact numbers. I know you know that, but you know you've done tremendously there, right? But you're also an amazing husband and an amazing family man, which gives me a whole new level of respect for you. You know what I mean? A lot of people have one or the other, but you managed to have both. So going back, let's go back to the early childhood.
Yeah.
Let's go back to all that kind of stuff. You know, tell me about all the things that happened to you and what the lessons you learned from it.
Yep.
And what made you who you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. And first off, honored. Thank you. Always will give time to you, baby. Like, love coming here. You've built an amazing empire. I've watched it over for a while from afar, and it's always exciting when you watch kind of the world without like trying to meet. It just happens. Like the good people find their way through it. Because I like that. Just like you said, I do have a very troubled past. So for me, I'm not too forefront with just putting myself out there. I let a colleague or someone I've worked with or someone that knows me well to make introductions, because the internet's full of just tons of shit. People just morph things in a certain way, but when you get referred from a real human being, it's easy to make that assessment. But, you know, young Chase, you know, fucked up, you're right.
You grew up where? Where'd you grow up?
In the Midwest. Most of my life in a little town called Sun Prairie.
Yep.
Right outside of Madison. You know, I want to say that too, because, you know, got in a lot of trouble, sold drugs, but I didn't sell drugs because I thought like I was going to have a fucking Ferrari. It's because I wanted like an S10 truck, you know, like I live in a small town. I didn't know any of this was
back then. Is pretty badass like this.
And to your town, you know, you have to understand, like, success to me was like $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
So, you know,
now you make that in a minute.
It's crazy. And, you know, it's crazy when you like watch. You know, I think actually it's the number one cause of people being fucked up in this world is because we just don't know what we're truly capable of, because so much of the world is put in this little box.
Yeah.
And like, you're so scared of what outside your town is because you're so comfortable with what, like, just surviving. And you're scared that if you go out, you won't survive anymore. So for me as a young age, I just tested authority all the time. You know, I wasn't like a tough, scrappy kid, though I got my fair share of bouts. It was more, I just didn't feel right, you know, like, and it caused me to screw up all the time, constantly testing things.
What do you mean didn't feel quite right?
You know,
what do you define that for me?
Uncomfortable, you know, like.
Uncomfortable living by society standards.
And that the fact that like I was defined by the life that I was born into.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I love my parents and every piece of my life is from them. Yeah. So like, and they didn't have entrepreneurial backgrounds, but the shit that they had to go through gave me such a drive to never go through that shit 100%. Ever again in my life. And that not feeling right, like I was judged unfairly. And like, yes, I got locked up, but here's some fucked up shit. Today, right now, fast forward, say everything happened, but it was my kid and I was the parent, they'd be in no trouble at all. Like the world, it's very easy to ram down the throat when you do one thing wrong when you're part of the system. You know what I'm saying? So like, and you know, people in affluence kind of forget sometimes about the shit, and it's there. So, you know, not saying I didn't do anything wrong, because I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always was, you know, rough about everything. I went into business thinking that business was cutthroat. It was either me winning or you winning. So I didn't care about the other person. I didn't, like I thought that that's what good business was. I mean, when you're a young kid, aren't you taught that these guys up in the high power world are just these villainified, dickhead, horrible people? So when you want to be in these high levels, what are you looking at?
You cut throat, and that's, I think, coming from, that kind of a small town mentality.
Absolutely.
Where, people don't know any better. Correct. They're all poor, and they all think that anybody who's ever did anything took away from them.
Yep.
They don't want to take personal responsibility because they're poor, because maybe their mindset, or they haven't evolved, or they haven't done anything with their life.
Yep.
It's easy to blame the guy who has money, right?
Yep. Well, it's easy to I feel like people want to be this poster child for the world fucked me. They want to be so loud, the world has done me wrong. What have you gotten from it besides a ton of headache? Life sucks for everyone. For me, it being so polarized, on the internet and all over the world, and me not fighting it, defending it, or trying to hide anything I went through, I just don't care enough because I like the polarization from me. I think people vibrate with me because they're not seeing my highlight reel. Yeah, I got money. I could SEO my name and make it this fucking perfect thing, the charities I donate, the people I've helped. But then what question is it? Is it real? I like that people can relate with me. It's who hasn't fucked up? And if you haven't, or you know someone who hasn't, run away because they're gonna fuck up big on your watch.
Exactly, man. People try to put a fake perception out. We know that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And all they have to do is look, there's somebody out there that will resonate with your story.
Yep.
Chances are somebody has gone through what you're going through. You ain't the only fucked up person in this world.
Yep.
We're all fucked up one way or another. Some people just admit it more than the others.
Correct. I always say that we're mixed bags at best. People need to give human beings a little bit more credit at times, And listen, and I want to show people that no matter how fucked up you've done in your life, no matter what you've gone through, that you can wear that badge and still succeed. It proves that you don't need people's acceptance
and approval.
You just don't. I always say to myself, now I'm in this public sphere and I'm honored to be a part of this and share my story, but my day doesn't change at all if everybody in this room hates me, likes me, and that's what real success is. I found comfortability in myself. And going back, I learned that at a young age. I learned when I got incarcerated, when I was selling drugs, when I was doing fucked up shit, taking a check from my parents and write for more money to get more drugs so I could sell it and put the money back. Funny stories, when this was all going down, I wasn't using them. I was selling them to all these kids whose parents then hated me for me being a businessman when their kids truly were the ones who were also the problem. Yeah. But again, people want someone to blame. It's the mirror effect. Everyone looks at everyone as a mirror, okay? And you look at them as a reflection upon yourself, and it puts in the things that define you into question. So, if there's this ex-con who you can easily look me up and it's oh damn. And that's what's crazy. It's so easy for someone to equally hate than equally admire. Because if they equally hate on you, it's this confidence stroke inside of them being all right, they are a fucking scumbag or a piece of shit. That's why they're successful. Thank you. I'm not successful because
I'm a good person.
There it is, and the real thing is you want to know how to become successful? Leather skin. I don't think I've ever met anybody in the business world who hasn't just taken it in the teeth all the way across the way. And the more you get in the limelight, the more you go under this scrutiny. I mean, you have to understand, a human being who will take the time out of their day to follow you around, write bad stuff about you, or spread whatever their terms. And listen, they're getting very good. They normally take a piece of the truth so it sounds believable and they spin it. But someone who does that is losing at everything else in life. It is I'm not trying on my watch to have someone kill themselves or do, that's a hurt person. For me to it's that's not fair for me to make that fight. I'm gonna destroy that human being in this conversation because I know who I am. They don't even know who you are. They're just making assumptions because it's allowing them to define themselves as a better person. So I just leave it be. I learned this lesson in life, time tells every story.
True that.
And the people who hated on me, all the bad things about me are from 10, 11 years ago. Didn't defend myself, didn't deal with it. I just let time and me being me tell the story. And believe it or not, for all the people who've written bad stuff.
And your success.
Yeah, but they help me do it. They help my gas. Are you kidding me? Like every time I see someone hating and doing these things, I'm like, thank you so much. You've proven that I am.
Thanks for motivating me. Thanks for driving me.
Yep. And you need to. And listen, like.
And you don't kick him down. You don't kick him when they're down, but you just say, hey, dude, I appreciate it. I mean, if it wasn't because of you, I probably wouldn't push as hard.
Exactly. And like, you need that in life. Listen, everyone needs to find their why where they're going to push it. When I first started, my why was, I'm going to prove these motherfuckers wrong.
And you know what? I'm so glad you say that, because a lot of people, even though they do it for that reason, they never admit it. We live in this kumbaya world where, oh my God, so, I prayed for him and, to change his ways, and I became successful. And I used to. Now, recently, I've changed that. Yep. But part of my drive back in the day, up until about a year ago, I think, Chase, was I had a list of gratitude. Things that I was grateful, people I was ungrateful. That was a list of fucking haters that I looked at every morning to fucking go and prove them wrong. Yep. And I don't have no problem admitting it. Yep. There was a people that wanted me to fail, that was wishing me to fail. There was a list of them that I went through. And recently, after I looked at them, I think it was last year, I looked at them, I'm like, dude, like, they ain't even worth it no more. Yep. I'm already up here. You know what I mean? There's no reason for me to look at somebody who's down here anymore. So, but I needed that push, like you said.
Revenge has been served.
Yes.
You're right. The world is very, PC, and people say things the way people want them to hear it. Like, I've never been that way. That's why it's very easy to dislike me. I'm loud, obnoxious, I swear a ton, I'm intense. But I learned in life that it wasn't about people are trying to be cool. Like, that's what it all comes down to. Like, who's cool? But cool ain't being like a bitch and being accepted by everyone. Cool's just vibrating your way and your people find you.
I'm not gonna lie, man. There was a point that I struggled with my identity where I didn't know if I want to be like Tony Robbins, or I didn't know I want to be like Floyd Mayweather. Mm-hmm. It's like the opposite spectrum. You know what I mean? I don't want to lift people. I just want to talk shit. Yep. You know what I mean? And then I came to the realization, man, I'm neither one. Yep. I am who I am. Sometimes, I can be more Tony Robbins-ish. Yep. And sometimes I can be worse than Floyd Mayweather talking shit. Yep. It just depends on who I'm talking to, what things like that. And I'm not going to try to be somebody I'm not. Yep. Whenever I've tried to be somebody that I wasn't able to even talk right, because I have to think about, did I say the right thing, or did I the right thing, and all that kind of stuff. And now you get to a certain point that, like you said, you just don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
If you go to my website, right from in my video, I'll tell you all the shit that I fucked up in. Yep. You know what I mean?
We call it the Eminem theory.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't hate on me for something I wear. And the thing is being polarizing has actually been a huge thing. All the people who talk shit, they're actually have helped along the way, and not because of just the fuel, just because they make you more human. Yeah. A lot of times people look at successful people as they're not humans. Somewhere, something along the life is so different than them. And for me, it's not that even human. I'm less than, on paper, I'm a piece of shit compared to most of the world. And it really puts into question what is defining people and their thought process of who is right and who is wrong. So for me, I learned a long time ago that I needed to deal with stuff, that testing the bounds of life in every aspect is going to have its blowback. So like I said, I got locked up. I got wound up in the system at a young age. I had a probation parole officer who was just fucking terrible to me. Her daughter went to the same high school I went to.
Oh, shit.
So all up in my business, would tell everybody in the school everything I ever did. So after I got out, I kept getting put back in for probation violations because her daughter was
snitching on you.
Straight snitching. And for was I wrong? Yeah, sure. Maybe I was smoking fucking weed. You got me, but to take a kid who's trying to make something himself, I'm in college, I'm on the right path now, and to pull me out of school to prove a fucking point for what reason? Just to be a dickhead. And when you're locked up and you're on parole or probation, you have a mate, someone that you are grouped with. My guy was a mass cocaine user, okay? Got caught beating up his wife and shit.
You were dude, I'm fucked up, but I'm not that fucked up.
But this guy got drug tested for drugs once every year. I got drug tests every week. And I'm smoking weed, and I'm like, bitch, like, no shit, I'm smoking weed. I'm like, came from the gutter. You just made my life even worse. Now I'm stressed out of my mind. I'm doing what every human being does. They go to a vice when you're at the fucking precipice. You don't know what to do.
And now weed is legal.
And now weed is legal. And I still, and I just got my passport. 34 years old, I've been dealing with this until I was, I'm 34 right now. I just got my passport, having to deal with this. It's absurd. So probation locks me up. I eventually am like sick of it. I'm a human being, like just like you. There's a point where you're just like sick of it. You're like, if I'm gonna continue to live like this, I'm gonna go out my way. Yeah. So I was like, listen, cut my bracelet off. I was on one of those house monitor things, the different type of jewelry.
Now, I read down your bio, you cut that shit off. I'm like, is that been possible?
Yeah, no, scissors. The thing is because they have a little sensor, and it's like, they don't give a shit. They're like, cut that fucking thing off. You've now committed a crime. Like, it's a crime. It's called absconding. It means like I'm like a felon on the run. And I was. I ran to the state of California from Wisconsin. I literally fled. Because I'm like, whatever. Like, I cried to my mom. I put like $6,000 I had together. I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I grew up in a small town. I'm like, remember, we have small town mentality. I'm like, if I just go a few states over, it's like Luxembourg. They don't even know where the fuck I am. So I go. I live in a hostel for like $18 a day. Like, fucking nothing. Like this shitty ass hostel.
In California?
In California, in Temecula. Yep. I came here and got a job at a gas station. Worked at a gas station, worked there for probably like 6 months, and then got a job in construction. This guy came in every single day, and I would like run the whole thing in the morning and hustle. He's like, I'm gonna give you a job. I'll pay you 4 times what you make right now. Quit right now. I'm like, well, I'll take that, but I'm not quitting right now. They deserve a 2-week notice. Like, who would run this place? He goes, I knew you were a good person. For me, honestly, I don't think I even was then. I just didn't want to be without money.
Yeah.
So I started working. One day I'm just sitting at my fucking house with my roommates, smoking a fucking bong, being this typical piece of shit. Should have changed, got locked up, thought I had a new chance, never changed, just kind of a little bit here and there. Wasn't selling drugs anymore, worked legitimately, but still a piece of shit. And knock, 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 2 SWIFT officers. There to extradite me back to the state of Wisconsin, and I'm like...
What officers?
They're called SWIFT. They're like plainclothes extradition officers.
Oh, okay. So are they from California or are they from?
They are appointed by a different state, I believe, but they were here in California. And so they take me to the police station. They come out and they knock on the door in plain clothes and they pull their fucking chain, like their detective things out.
They have handcuffs and shit.
Yeah, and they were actually really cool guys, and hopefully I'm not getting them in trouble, but they didn't actually handcuff me. They're like, we're gonna put your hands over, blankets over it, so like, if anybody's looking, it looks like you're handcuffed, but I don't want to embarrass you. Like, I'm this look at me. Do I look like a fucking tough guy? Like, I'm like the size of my waist is like your arm. But, so.
When I got arrested, I had to use 2 handcuffs.
Yeah, I bet they did.
No, because my fucking arms couldn't go behind my fucking back. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. They're like, this is like, they put one, I'm like, I can't fucking reach my fucking back.
I ain't
gonna lie to nobody, man. I mean, this is the first time I ever said it. But I had to use 2 handcuffs, man.
That I'm the opposite. I think they go to the ladies department for me. They give me the dainty flower version. But yeah, so they take me in, they take me to Riverside. I have a heart condition called hyperlipidemia, so I take medicine. And they're like, listen, you need to go see the doctor. I go see the doctor. I'm like, I need, one of these fucking officers to go back to my house and get my medicine. Like, I need that shit. And they're like, nah, you'll get it in Wisconsin. It's gonna be 30 days. You stop at 30 jails on the way there. I'm like, oh, awesome. This is gonna be terrible. I gotta ride a prison bus and I gotta stop at 30 different jails on the way back to hell.
What the fuck?
Awesome. Like, let's do this.
Don't have a one-way ticket?
Yeah, like just like taking me back. Let's go, baby. And so I go through all my stuff. I go see the doctor, and I'm walking out of, where the doctor's back into the pod, like in Riverside County, in Riverside. And if you know anything about Riverside, it's no place to fuck around. All right? Like, there's some real motherfuckers there. Like, there's real gangs, there's real sets from a kid who did time in its state of Wisconsin. Not saying there's not crime and villains. There are. California's got the pick of its litter.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
so I'm in there, and I got this fucking orange jumpsuit on with these white t-shirts, like, hanging down to here, because, again, my dainty flower ain't made for jail. And the guy's like, hero, roll up your sleeves. You're going to holding. And I'm like, up to the pod. I'm like, what? He's like, roll up your sheets, you're going home. I'm like, okay, I'm getting extradited. So they get, I put my clothes on, they give me all my worldly possessions in this fucking Ziploc bag, and they kick me out the door, make you feel like just a hell of a man. And they point me down this hallway, and I open it, and it's like, the light gets you. You're like, I'm like, shit, it's outside. There's no officers. There's no bus. It's like freedom. And I'm like, and it's almost like it's like a back alley. It's not the front of the jail. It's like not even the back. It's like this side where another building's between. I'm like, this is where they execute people. This is how they do it here. They're like, no room for this guy, clunk. I look back down the hall and they're like, state of California doesn't think what you did was bad enough, man. We ain't paying to extradite you, a free fucking man.
See, state of California is cheap, man. They want to make.
Thank God for the cheapness.
Yeah.
Cali, if you guys are watching, thank you for being cheap. Like, I'm here
we're
because
keeping
of
the
you.
money in the house here, man.
Yep. So I'm 13 miles from my house, no phone, no wallet, no nothing. I'm already on path to go extradite. I'm not taking any of my shit. I'm just having it sent to my mom. So I walk back to my thing, and this is when I have like the aha moment in life. Like, holy shit, the world is a serious place. I can't like run from this. Like, I need to gear the fuck up and deal with this, or there'll be no place in my life where I'll ever be safe. So, bucked up, got on my game, worked construction, busted my ass. My boss got his 4th DUI in a work truck. I ended up taking over his position through the long process of me just already running that division. Got really heavy into the internet game, or into the construction game. And as the market started teetering, I met a kid who ended up screwing me over, but at the time showed me the internet. We met because I had a Range Rover and he had a Maserati. I had a Range Rover that I probably should not have had because I could barely, I think I had 75 grand in the bank and I think it was like 65 grand.
We all done that.
Yeah, LA
all
gets,
been there.
California gets you sometimes. And I met him and he showed me the internet. I proceeded the following week to sell my company for like 100 grand, which was worth way more, but like I just wanted the capital to run the internet. And him and I proceeded to build a pretty fun internet business that actually turned me into the world's biggest piece of shit on the planet. Because I was making like 100K, 200K a month net, legit, Ferraris, thinking I'm the shit. I let LA just destroy me. I talk down to people, I treat people like...
I mean, look, you come from that little town mentality that people don't make 100 grand in 5 years.
Exactly.
You made that in a month.
Yep.
So now you're like, dude, I'm the fucking, you're young. I mean, it's understandable. It's understandable.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And well, the thing is, I just wish there were more people who would have like saw that and stopped that, because that whole business, all those friendships imploded because of that. Because what happened is, one day we woke up and the rules had changed. Like Visa had changed a way you could bill something or something along that line, so this company could no longer be in business. Well, the 2 other guys went broke because they just spent all their money. Here's me, I'm living for like 4 to 6 G's a month, like I'm fucking Jacques Cousteau, feeling like making 100, 150K, feeling rich as shit. Well, they blackmailed me basically, and they were like, give me your money or we're gonna destroy you online. And I was like, excuse me, I worked for this fucking money, no fucking chance. And sure enough, they weren't bluffing. And I didn't really understand the power of the pen of the internet. The internet's written in pen, it ain't
What do
pencil.
you mean destroy you online? Like, what do you mean?
So it's really easy. So like, first off, they would use my past. Way back, 10 years when I started, they would use my past. I'm a criminal, drug dealer. Then they would move into things saying like I made my money by stealing money from people, like conning, embezzling, all of these things that like, we had a weed business, we had a marijuana company that went under. And there were investors. I was one of the owners and investor, and we all took it in the teeth. So they'd be like, oh, he embezzled money. I'm like, because it went under? Like everybody lost on that. So people take things, and listen, I'm in business. I have people sue me. Like they feel that they're right. I feel that I'm right. Like that's business 101. And so they would take these stories
and then twist them.
And twist them. And like, listen, it wasn't my position to fight it, because what would it do? I'm not changing their minds. Like, people are free to have their own opinions. People are so worried about controlling other people's opinions. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you everything about me. And so, the friendship, ruined. They kicked me out of a house I paid for and proceeded to literally fucking destroy me online, to the point where literally suicide was a thought on my mind. There was no question about it. I mean, They tried to steal my girlfriend from me. Like, don't be with him, we got money, he ain't shit, he's a piece of shit. Like, literally tell everybody. They would contact people I used to go to school with, so the old people in my school could help shed this narration. And then the people who I went to school with would really spread it, because I defied everything that defied them.
That sounds like a girl move.
I mean, it's just...
That sounds like you it's not with a business. It sounds like you broke up with a girlfriend now.
Yep.
She won't tell you, He got STDs. Yeah. He got AIDS. Don't fuck with him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Don't it though? Does that sound like something?
It's petty.
Girl move? Yeah.
But that's the nature of the internet. You have to understand there's no, like you and I, there's no emotion here. Like the internet, there's a screen between it. There's just two people. Yeah. And these kids, they have this tough guy mentality, you know, and everybody does. And you can't I'm not gonna sit here and knock it because it's again, it's easier to doubt someone's success. We even do it in our levels. Like if I see some guy like Jeffrey Epstein, $2 billion, how did he really make it? You know, everybody does it. So it's not my place to say it's right and wrong. All I know is I was a bad business person. I was a bad human being. They tried to extort it to make money off of it. It didn't really work. It ended up destroying some of their lives. One of them years later came back to me and apologized in just the most genuine way. And he's like, I'm sorry, man, if you want to use this against me. I'm like, what would I use against you? I'm wildly successful in this industry. My wife and kids are happy. I paid for my mom's house, my sister's place, their cars. Thank you, I think it would be, the real answer. People sometimes forget that the things that are supposed to push us aren't always wrapped in bows and pretty things. Yeah. Sometimes the things that are our defining moment are our makers testing us that we're worthy of what's about to happen.
I just said that in a previous podcast, man.
It's the truest statement of all time.
I always tell people like this, man. God is not going to bless you till you prove that you're worth his blessing by going through some shit first.
Yep. And I always say, and I'm a religious man, so obviously you as well, but I always say things like, the gift God gave us was life. Our repayment of that gift is what we do with it. You want to meet your maker in the most ultimate way, repay him every single day for the life he gave you, because he could have easily made you one of the special ones that are going through some serious fucking shit right now. And I can tell you right now, it's one of the things that drives me the most insane in this whole world is that people take for granted their time. And I look at it like this, and I'm gonna go back for a second. I look at it like this. You hate me? Good. Seriously, I should be hated. I am an ex-con nobody who has cracked the code of life. I ain't gotta work if I don't want to. I ain't gotta do anything if I don't want to anymore, and I am completely free to do whatever I want.
Now, I'm hating you right now.
Right? But I should be fuel that makes you go, if this fucking piece of shit can do it, what am I? That's how life is supposed to be. People look at this the wrong way, you need to be high five, go do it. No, sometimes people need to have it's like jails. You hear all over society, jails are too harsh. They're supposed to make you not want to go back there. Yeah. They're supposed to go and change you. If we didn't have to go to drastic measures, we wouldn't have a 1% success rate. We'd have a 50 or 60. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We're trying drastic measures because nothing's working. Especially with social media now. Now it's almost cool to be a dickhead. It's fun. It's you can make witty humor at someone else's behest of someone else. It's use your time the right way. This world is so easy to make money if you just work at it. You always see this one tip you want to know what the one tip to being successful is? Don't be an excuse-ridden piece of shit.
I hate that shit, man.
Excuses is the new swear word. I was just saying this the other day to my boy Chad. I was like, excuses are the new swear word. And if you walk around, you know why it stinks so much in cities? It's because of people's breath. It's because they're just kicking trash out. I'm like, do you hear yourself? Listen, I have a friend of mine who every year lives at his last paycheck. He survives, which is basically slavery. Yeah. We kick the fucking chains off the ankles and the wrist and we put them around people's heads. Surviving is basically I'm a slave. And I just, it blows my mind. I watch him justify going to Burning Man every year. Listen, he saves up the entire fucking year to go to Burning Man, which is awesome, by the way. Burning Man's an awesome place, but he saves up all year to go to this.
But not if he's putting every last penny there.
But he can't.
It's awesome for you.
Yes, but because his friends talk him into it and do this, and he has no problem being resourceful to go to Burning Man. But if you told him to better his life, he's like, man, don't tell me that bullshit mumbo jumbo shit. Do you want to know why it's mumbo jumbo shit? It's because you're right. Educators aren't doing it for their own good. They're doing it because I'm sick and tired of people bitching about the most mundane shit in the entire planet, everywhere, always. I don't hear that in my neighborhood. I don't hear that in the people I hang out with. I don't hear any of that shit. because they're successful and they don't care about this fucking bullshit. Like, I want people to truly be free and then do whatever the fuck you want. You want to raise Scottish poodles to do backflips in the Sierra? Do that. I don't give a shit what your why is, but just pick one, because when you don't choose to do something great for your life has been chosen for you.
Yeah.
And everybody hates social injustice, this LGBT, all those, and white, black, all this horrible shit. It's like, you hate social injustice so much, but you're walking around with a shackle around your brain.
Yeah.
And you're completely cool with it. You're cool with someone else telling you what you're capable of. And it blows my mind, but that's where society has gone, and social media has just amplified that, because here's the truth. Success does suck. It's a ton of hard work. Is it fun getting up in the gym at 4 in the fucking morning?
Nope.
But you've trained your body to know exactly what that works. So it's habits. Like, people are like, where do you get the motivation? What the fuck do you mean? You think successful people just believe, like, all I want to do is do this. Look what's around you. I guarantee you want to right now, like, fuck this podcast. Let's take this bitch for a cruise. You see that? Like, people have this disposition that somehow successful people just think differently. Like, they don't want to just hang out and do nothing. No, we don't. We just understand causality.
Yeah. What you do and what's going to cost. Exactly. So
Correct.
100%.
And like, I just want people to like realize in life that it's like, focus on what matters. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with beautiful homes. As long as you're fucking busting your ass, doing your thing, this is what people like about this shit. Like, I guarantee you it doesn't matter if you drive this or one of your cars that's less than this. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same way. Like, I got a Rolls. I also got an S-Class Benz. I don't think I'm a badder motherfucker when I'm in the Rolls versus when I'm in the Benz. Other people might. I don't.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a story, quick, man. I went to Beverly Hills one time, and I drove the company car, which is a Scion XB. And went to the valet, and the valet, as soon as I pulled up, the guy comes in, reminded me, sir, it's $35 to park here, and it's cash only, right? And I said, okay, yeah, I realize that. Next week, I went to the same valet in my Rolls Royce.
Yep.
The dude never said anything about the money.
Yep.
The guy just said, hey, I got a parking spot up front for you.
Yep.
And bowed to me, did everything.
Yep.
Same guy, 7 days later, different car.
Yep.
It's the perception.
Yeah.
Same person.
And people want to be social injustice warriors for that. Why? Like, what's so wrong with that? Like, everybody's trying to figure out if the other person's real and valid. Sadly, success can be shown, all right? It shouldn't define the person, but here's the fucked up thing. I guarantee people would take me a lot less seriously if I didn't have what I had. My words wouldn't be any differently. No. People would hear them differently.
True.
Because you only listen to people who you want to be like them, you admire.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, these educators, they say the same thing. Well, here's two things to that. Why the fuck ain't you rich and successful then? If everybody's saying the same thing and all the answers are out there, what's your fucking excuse?
True that.
And secondly, why do you think we're all saying the fucking same shit? Because it's the same shit since the beginning of time to get ahead.
And nobody's still not doing it.
It's work. It's just like you. Like, listen, supplements, eating right, doing the stuff, that will help your body. But if your ass don't get into the gym, you don't build the muscles. Nope. You can have a world-class trainer if you don't do nothing. Michael Jordan could be standing next to you and you are like a child, you're gonna be a child prodigy in basketball. If the kid sits there with his thumb in his mouth and Michael Jordan shows you he does nothing, he's a child nothing, People forgot that it's the hard work. It's why most do it, because it sucks.
So tell me, we'll switch gears a little bit, because I'm fascinated of what you have done on e-commerce.
Shoot.
Okay. Tell me about that story where you learned to do some ads, and then you did $3,200. You spent $3,200. You fell asleep. I woke up, and you thought you didn't make nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you tell me that story, because I was. You told me that before. I saw in your bio.
Yep.
That was the funniest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah. It's every time I tell it, my hair stand up on my arms, even just thinking about it. See, they're already in motion, because it is really passionate and true. So yes. So fast forward from there to my life. It's now 2011, November 12th. My girl and I split. I had knocked her up for like the third time. No babies. convince her to have an abortion. See, like, I'm completely open about everything because I was like, you're gonna be fat the first time. I'm like, no, we're gonna go on vacation. You're gonna wear a swimsuit. You know, like, I just was such a bad, I was all about myself and money. It took like realization to get it. So,
hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You admit that.
Yeah.
You admit that you were wrong. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's how you learn to get better.
But I bet you now there's people like, oh my God, you're such a dick. Look, man, we all have done shit that we're not proud of.
Yep.
Can nobody say here, can nobody throw a stone? Because every single one of us on the planet has done some shit that we're not proud of.
Right.
It's just to stop judging people.
Yeah, well, it's like when you were a toddler, did you shit your pants?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you fucking sicko. Like, people gotta stop living about what defined them. Like, you just keep moving on. But so I lost my chick. You know, she's like, if I'm gonna have an abortion, we're done. So we split up, she takes my dogs, goes, and I'm like, I'm all alone in a fucking $2,000 a month place in San Clemente, California. Range Rover just repoed, living like a baller. Just like, you don't even wanna leave your house. Like, you don't even get out of the sweatpants. You're like, it ain't even worth it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't wanna face the world. So I'm there. I meet this dude, Ted Danik, and he was one of the MySpace founders. In fact, that's where I met Chad, one of the MySpace founders. And he, you know, exited, had all these big exits, and lots of money. And, you know, what do you typically do when you think someone's got money, you got none, and you're a fucking bitch? You're like, yo, can I get some money? So I asked him for money. He's like, dude, go fuck yourself. Fast forward a week, he calls me into his office. He's like, come into my office, be there at like 8 p.m. Go to his office, and he has a media buyer there and this advertiser there, which is someone who I ran traffic for. Mm-hmm. He's like, listen, you're gonna run some beauty products in France. And I'm like, in France? Bro, I can barely write English, let alone French. Like, I don't know. And he's like, no, we're gonna build it all for you right now. So they do all of that. I leave there about 10:30. I get back, and they're like, don't fuck this up. Don't fall asleep. I know you're a stoner. Don't fuck this up.
You're a stoner.
He's like, they're how stupid I am. They're like, listen, don't fuck this up. I think they said that 15 times. And sure enough, I went home, turned it on, hit a joint, passed out. Fucked it up, and listen, this is where it's emotional. Like, it's hard to say, but I feel like if you're not where you need to be, you need to have that moment where you're like, holy shit, I am not even worth the air I'm breathing right now. And I had that. I'm like, these guys went out of their way to change my life, and I spat in their face. Like, I spat right in their face. So he's calling me a bunch. He's like, how you doing? I log in. I spent $1,200. Look on the stats, fucking zero. At this point, I am like trembling, tears pouring down my face. I mean, contemplate.
One opportunity you had, you fucked up.
Yeah, and just it wasn't even about making $10. They had told me, like, you're gonna double your money. This is the hottest arena in the world. Like, he's like, and I quote, he's like, you're gonna make millions of dollars. I don't say this, I don't help no one. You're gonna, like, your whole life is changing. So, like, how when people say that, it makes you feel good. When you have good people around you and they pump you up and they make you feel good, those good vibrations do something to you. I was on cloud 9. But when you're on cloud 9 and a rain cloud comes and pops that bitch and drops you down into the soil and you're underneath the ground, that's what happened to me. So he's calling and calling and calling and calling. I'm like, fucking Teddy, leave me the fuck alone. I'm like mortifying, like a little girl in the corner just groveling. I'm like, I need the day. Like, I need to figure out me. And he's like, check the fucking stats. Your pixel didn't place. And I'm like, a schmixel? Like, what is what's a pixel? What are you talking about? Like, I don't even understand. He's like, go look again. And I looked on, and it made like $3,000, $3,500, something like that. It made really good profit. And I'm like, holy shit. He goes, turn it back on, spend the rest of the money. And I did, but for an hour, I'm in shock. Like, are they fucking with me? Are they just trying to they saw how down in the dumps I am. Are they trying to save a human being from not, And no, it was real. I sat there and spent $2,000 and made $4,200. And for a person, listen, I had $2,000. I forgot to say that. I had $2,000 left on, $2,008 on my Wells Fargo debit card. And they asked me how much to spend. I asked them and he goes, $2,000. I'm like, I'm an ex-con. I have no fucking money. My mom and stepdad have no fucking money. I'm done. It's over. That's it. This is the precipice. And I had just doubled my net worth in a day. Okay? So this advertiser calls me. He's like, listen, I'm gonna send you $10,000. Just spend it all today. And I didn't really trust him, so I spent $5. I made $12,000. That's $7,000. I didn't sleep for 5 days. I drank like those 5-hour energies and like no-dos. Like and this time I'm already depressed. I look thin now. I think I was 121 pounds soaking wet. I look like a cancer patient.
So you're doing an upper and a downer together?
Yeah,
so you're smoking weed
yeah.
and popping no-do?
Yeah.
It's like 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down, 1 minute you're up, 1 minute down. That don't even make sense.
Yep, I'm like running around the circle. You know, like I'm like the socks flying around in the house in the underwear. It's like, you had never seen someone celebrate so much. I had the people who lived underneath me coming up so many times to ask me to stop throwing parties. I'm like, nope, it's just me doing like hurricane flips and like cartwheels and shit. So I'm like, dang, my life has just changed. So I don't think anybody realized what they had opened in me when they had showed me that. I don't think anybody knew the struggle I had gone through to that point.
You saw the opportunity, and you just doubled down and doubled down and doubled down and doubled down.
I risked my whole life, and that's what people fucking think. Like, they think success comes when you like want to just like try to like, let me attempt this.
You went all in. You went all in.
Always. You got to go all in like 10 times. Like, you have to have that mentality to jump into the pool no matter knowing what the temperature is, not even testing it. That shit could be 10,000 degrees or negative 8 trillion. You jump in that bitch going, I'll deal with it and adjust.
I was talking to a realtor that started at the same time, same place, and same company as Manny Koshman. You know? And obviously Manny's where it's at, and he's just a realtor.
Yep.
And he told me, he goes, man, the difference between me and Manny was Manny just went all in.
Yep.
I'm like, well, it's still not too late, brother. What the fuck is, keeping you? Yep. You know what I mean? Man, and so when I study, successful people like you and everything else like that, it's like almost like, I like the football analogy. You see that one little opening, and you just fucking go right.
Absolutely.
You just take that opening and you just run for the end zone. And you did that. And everybody who I've studied that are really, really successful, all they need is just that one little opportunity, and they just go all in, and you've done that. And then ever since then, tell me the real stats, because I know I said, hundreds of millions of dollars. How much have you sold on e-commerce online?
So online products, including like a filletized office where we sell traffic to someone else's office, but still a product, nearing about $700 million. Yeah.
So
bootstrap, no investors, just me and my partner.
So 700, that's almost $1 billion.
Yep, we'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.
So I'm sure in the next few months or half a year.
I wish. We're looking to clear. We're hoping to hit it in the next 24 months. Because you have to understand, like, what people like. Here's the thing, like, and the real thing is, like, we're going through put it all on the line too. So my business partner, I know, we've obviously started that Watchers brand, and we're here to educate people. We actually want to build almost 200,000 square foot campus, get actually accredited, like do the real thing, and like, because people still look at college as like the way to go, and I'm telling people that they should look at a different way of. We should be teaching our youth a different thing, like compound interest. You know what I'm saying? Like being scrappy, understanding that you need to go all in. That mentality of going all in is part of it. Like, I look at it like this. People go, that's not the truth. I go, okay, everything in this world's relatable to something else. Everybody's been in a relationship. How's that go when you don't give it your all? You don't dive headfirst into it. Like, how's that go when you have reservations? That shit last? That shit real relationship? Do you build a fucking family and that'd be like building your business, your empire. Do you build that? No, you don't. You have to know. Smart people know what the opposite side is. It's like this. When you learn to go skiing, do you take the bunny hills or you go down the black diamond? Me, I go down the black diamond. I want to know what it feels like to get hurt in the worst possible situation so my mind knows exactly what I'm going up against. Yeah. That's what it is. Holy shit, it did not break me. I'm a human being and I can still stand back up.
So I talk to a lot of these young entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs these days.
Yep.
I have an e-commerce. I do e-commerce. You know what I mean? For somebody who's starting out. Yep. What are the top, 2 to 3 mistakes you see people do on e-commerce where you think like, oh my God, man, like they need to stop doing this.
Yep.
The most common mistakes people make.
Yep. Number one and the most widely used one is they don't think it's a real fucking business. So they assume because it's online, it's easy to start and tomorrow I should be rich. It's like I just invested $50, tomorrow should be a Bugatti, right? The only difference of an internet business to every other business, and average businesses make between 10 and 30%, and they have a 92 or higher percent fail rate inside the first 3 years. Nothing changes in the internet game. The only difference is input-output ratio, meaning how much work you have to put in There's no correlation in any normal brick and mortar business that's anywhere relatable to the amount of effort if you put into an internet business. Meaning like, if you and I both sat and worked 12 hours and all you did was brick and mortar and all I did was internet, it's almost physically impossible for you to catch the sales and revenue and the growth of that because the internet's output is ever reaching. Yeah. From my computer, I can reach the planet. Yeah. And so the power of it is huge, but that misconception, it's just like why crypto went to shit, Coinbase. It was so easy to put your fucking money in there. People thought it'd be so easy to make money. Like becoming an accredited investor, investing in a real Wall Street fucking stocks and firms and like takes effort and skill and time and you have to go through these cooling periods and all these things. This ease of use is destroying the masses because people don't want to work hard. Yeah. And so they make it easy, and Shopify blows up because they have a whole bunch of people who have an average ratio of success rate is like 1.1%. And why is that? It's because people don't treat it like a business. Number two is they make too much money too quickly, and they don't know how to build it into a business. We call it, they get rich too soon, and they start spending their money. Yeah. You know, I didn't really buy anything until I had $5-10 million bucks in the bank. Because my burn rate to buy media was that. Like that was my ability to grow. Otherwise, I'd have to go back. I think those are really huge, and not understanding who they're getting information from. You know, people are idolizing the wrong people. You know,
we see that all the time.
You know what I hate more than anything, and if this offends you, it fucking should. But I see this like made $79,000, 16-year-old kid makes $79,000 in 6 months. Okay, it's like, awesome, you're a good carpenter. Like you're good at a trade. Yeah. To say you're good at running a business that you can go out and help someone else is the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Because you're good at a skill does not mean you're gonna be good at running a business. I know tons of people who are great welders that tried to start a welding company and stopped all over their wieners. Yeah. Just fucked it up.
Yep.
The internet game is looked at as like this easy way to make money. And here's the biggest thing. And I love when people have things to take home from it, but this is the number one take home. If you're gonna run and sell something online, no one gives a shit what you think or what you wanna sell. Yeah. People care about themselves and they will tell you exactly what they want. Give them that. Like my hair is falling out, my arms are tiny. I sell health supplements, hair products, extensions, you know, like all types of shit. Like I'm not a poster. Like you are a poster child for gym and fitness, for the love of God. I am not, because for me, I didn't go out to set up to build this brand. I set up to build a conglomerate of companies that would serve the need of people's innate desire to emotionally spend. Yeah. Like, I'm in the arena of emotional spenders. Like I sell products to people who are buying something not because they have to have it, because they have some emotional reason in their body is drawing them to it. And I believe it's the most powerful thing in the internet to market because I don't have to sell them anything. I just have to put these items in front of them and now they buy it. I always tell people like this, who has an Aunt Pam or Susan who can't stop buying shit on HSN? Well, there are more of those people than you could ever imagine. So for me, it's why we push e-commerce so hard, because though it is like a normal business, it is the quickest, least expensive way to actually have a human being have a fighting chance to build something that could give them freedom in their life, whatever that choice is. Because here's what, like to you and I mean, we need tens, hundreds of millions of dollars, like for our companies to be like successful in our minds now. But an average person, what do they need to make? $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year net? Like, it's not that it's easy to do that on the internet, but it's so much easier there that all of our parents and grandparents should be motherfucking furious that they never had this. That's the only thing we should be dealing with right now is like grandpa pissed.
I was talking to Casey, man. I'm like, Casey, don't you make more money than your parents or your family? I said, dude, you're 19 years old. Your dad has been busting his ass for the past 40, 50 years, and you're a kid, 17, 18, 19 years old, you're out making your dad do the job that he's been busting. I was like, how does that make him feel?
Well, you know what I'm saying? And that's why this new arena, and that's why everybody has such a bad rap, and that's why like this online, this education, all of it has such a bad rap because of it is putting into question an entire generation, everything that defined them.
Yeah.
Everything that ever defined my parents, their parents, is put into question when a kid like myself wearing like a pink fucking sweatshirt and neon colored shoes pops out of a Rolls Royce with a smile on my face, no matter what insult you have, no matter what evil eyes you give me, and they're like, holy shit, I've had it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people have this idea that success is in some mold. Well,
it's not.
You're a completely different person than I am, and we are both.
And then our kids, when it comes to our kids, they're gonna do shit that we're like, what the hell is that? You know, it's called evolution.
It is.
You know, and we have to have that open mind now based on what we see with our parents and things like that, you know, that once our kids, by the time our kids are grown up, you know, and you're like, what the hell, man? I'm like, that wasn't around when I was around.
Exactly.
You know, but we have to be able to have that open mind and evolve and change with the times.
Yep.
And not get stuck, you know, in the industrial age like our parents have.
But the thing is our parents are stuck, but now so is the youth. Because here's why. So what happens if I told you that the percentage of successful people to unsuccessful people, though the population has spiked and the access to information is just open so much, the ratios really haven't changed at all.
That's why that it's called a bell curve.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's called a bell curve. I realize in life, you know, when we took tests in school, oh, it's getting graded on a bell curve, which means that they're expecting a certain amount of people to get A, certain amount of B, certain C's, and certain D's. And I said, well, we're just going to flunk it.
Yep.
And I think in life, nothing is more revealing than that.
Yep.
You know, when you look at the way people approach life, now you know why some people make it and some people don't.
Yep.
It's just the way they approach life, the way they see things, and the way they react to it.
Yeah, there's no defining moment. In fact, you know, you always look at like little censuses that schools, elementaries would put out, you know, when you're like, you'd want to be like this. You know, no one was like, I want to be a hedge fund trader. Maybe if your dad was a hedge fund trader, but you want to be an astronaut or a firefighter. You want to be a rock star. You had this uninhibited drive to be something what you thought was great. And then somewhere along the line, society has clouded that from people and changed their judgment, and now they don't want to do that anymore because of what society has said. And like, for me, it's like the defining of success is grit and being able to block out the noise. It's like, all I want to do, you know, and what we've done with the Watchers is like, my sole goal with it is to just amplify a whole bunch of normal people who are just beating the shit out of a whole bunch of people that should probably be kicking ass and aren't. Like, what I love about this family is we've helped, like, you know, the most plain Jane motherfucking people in the world, 17-year-old kid and a 75-year-old ladies, crush and like change their life in something that their entire everything around them told them that they were stupid for. And a lot of people don't want to do that. And it's not because they don't think they can succeed, it's because their ego.
Yeah.
They're so worried about what it will look like to fail in other people's vision. Yep. Like, it's like, you know, Joe is like, well, what about Thursday night poker nights if I go out and do my sock line and fucking it fails? Like, they'll all make fun of me. And like, if you have people like that in your life, light their house on fire. No, I'm just kidding. Run away from them. Like, get the hell away from them. Yeah. Like, your friends, you should be able to openly tell people your failures because they're not failures. They're like, it's like I just bought a new piece of hockey equipment. Like, I just got the shin guard. Oh, your company failed? Yep, I got the shin guard now. I know now not what to do. No. Don't hire outside marketing companies. They just fucking ran the money out. It's what I fucking hate about people who aren't successful. Here's the thing. I had this conversation with Andy Frisella. We make these funny jokes about like hunting, you know, and we talked about like, he's like, I don't hunt animals, but I'd hunt people. And I thought about that for a minute. I'm like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you know what? I would too. And I'm not, let me say something. These people who rob people's dreams and hopes from them because of whatever shit they're going through.
Insecurity. They're in their insecurity.
It's a cancer. And it's like, if you have a cell in cancer, you just let that thing chill in your body, you eradicate it. So I made this joke to one of my friends. He's like, you don't hunt no more. I'm like, nah, but you know, I would take a fucking bow and arrow and I would clean the fucking world of all those people. Because not even for them, they're done. Like, if y'all listen, sorry, you're done. The life's over for you. Yeah. People who run around just being pieces of shit all day, it's over for you. Especially for how long you've done it, it's probably done. What I hate is when they infect other people's lives. Yeah. Fresh, young minds or people who have a real chance.
They're just ruining their lives.
Because they're telling, it's like you're giving information on something you know nothing about. Because you think you're making like this inference, your opinion. Well, we're all entitled to our opinions, but if your opinion that has no fact-based backing is now changing someone's ability to go out and do something because they look at you as like a resource or a brother or a friend, you have destroyed someone's life.
So I have a question for you. I know you have programs and you coach
Yep.
a very limited amount of people.
Yep.
To build their e-commerce
Yep.
because obviously you're the poster child for it.
Appreciate that.
It's not some. You're not making it up. You've actually done the work.
Yep.
You basically been there, done that, got the T-shirt.
Yep.
How do you feel where other people are selling similar stuff than you and they never done shit? They never done shit with it.
So the fake, like fraud.
Right.
So there's two sides of it, and one side is going to piss people off in my response. There's one side. At least they're trying to do something in life. It's fucked up, but I'll give credit to a bank robber versus someone who sits on a fucking TV and eats potato chips all day. Now, granted, is their execution wrong? Yeah, probably, but I'm not God. I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah.
And listen.
I love that answer, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that answer.
And granted, listen. There's also another side to this. People need to use fucking common sense, all right?
Yeah.
It's not so common anymore. People's idea of hope, they hope so much. This person with Gucci flip-flops and this life there, it's if people are glorifying this life.
You're talking about.
Oh, I'm mad at you.
See, you're talking shit about Gucci flip-flops right now. See.
But
okay.
You know what I mean. But my partner wears pink ones, pink. I know, pink Gucci ones. But you know what I mean. You don't glorify them. They're just part of your life. It's when you ever seen people who post every nice meal they ever have on Instagram or Facebook? It's because they've never actually had money.
Yeah.
Wealthy people they don't need to it's just a Tuesday. It's just a fucking Tuesday, just eat my food. So people need to stop hoping so much that there's this one pill you're gonna take and everything change. Here it is with every business. I'm gonna break it all up. Can you make money online? Yes. Are there educators that can do it? Yes. Are there people who steal other people's programs and give them to you for cheaper? Yes, sure. But at the end of the day, if you think you can do something with passively or it's all automated and I don't gotta do nothing, you're just a fucking patsy. And no offense, you are exactly where you deserve to be.
Let me ask you a question. Right now, obviously, you're killing it and all that kind of stuff. You work because you want to, not because you have to. But even with you and as much success as you have had and you are having, you still gotta work.
Yep.
You still you still gotta log in and check the systems and all that. I remember the book that fucked it up for everybody, and I'm sorry, it was the 4-Hour Work Week.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
You know what I mean? The 4-Hour Work Week. Everybody was like, well, you know what? I know you're reading that right now. I saw that. You know what I mean? Don't listen to that shit. You know what I mean? So
take everything in and make your own conjecture.
Yeah,
from
you know what I mean? So basically, basically talk about how you can work 4 hours a week and just fucking go on vacation all the time, this and that. Man, I don't know about you, but I want to work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I want to get shit done. I don't mind going on vacation, but 4 hours a week, man, I'll be fucking bored out of my mind.
And I think that's an exception to the rule. And listen, there are always going to be exceptions. Don't live by that. Live by the rule. It's much easier to live by how it's normally going to be. And you want to know how to be successful? Go stand in front of a mirror. I implore all your audience to do the same. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at it. Now pick a part in your fucking body that you're gonna beat to motherfucking smithereens. You are gonna pound it. You're gonna ache it. You're gonna stress it out. Is it your feet? Is it your knees? Is it your hand? Is it your brain? Pick it. Because it's gonna get beat on. Success is huge, Chad. My team, I'm up later than everybody in my company, and I'm up later and I get up earlier every day. I'm built for this. Come at me. I work harder than anybody, and I'm proud of that. I say that probably just like you do as well.
But you used to fall asleep.
What's up?
But you used to fall asleep. What happened?
Exactly. Well, once you get a taste, honestly, that's what I want people to.
Once you got a taste of what you can do and what you're capable of doing,
Yep.
you were falling asleep because you had no hope.
Correct. I was falling asleep because my dreams were comfort to me.
Yeah.
It meant I didn't have to live in the life that I had created for myself. I got to live in a fallacy that my mind got to create that wasn't really reality. And what really happens in life is when you really become successful is your dreams are like a nightmare. When I go to bed, I'm like, there's no chance I can dream better than what I have right now. And it ain't just about shit because, listen, I'm not done wanting. I don't have a G550 with my fucking name on it. That bitch is coming, but I don't got it. I don't have the materialistic things. And people are these material. Listen, I work hard as shit. So you better damn right I want a 200-foot yacht to spend 1 week with my family.
But you have, for somebody from a small town in Wisconsin who's been incarcerated back and forth 3 times, gone through, gone through all the shit that you have. You get up every day and you be like, I can't dream better than this. I'm the same way because I come from a small town. average income $17,000 a year, or whatever what it is. You know what I mean? And for me to get up every day and look at my view and look at the pool, look at the house and what I have. I can't dream it better either. That doesn't mean that I'm done, like you said. That doesn't mean that I don't want to strive more. You always want to do more. But when you don't have hope, I think is when you don't want to. You're like, okay, when I don't have hope, then I can dream better than what I have now. But when you have hope and everything's going the way you want, it's like, fuck, I don't want to sleep. My life is better awake than it is sleep.
And the thing is like, listen, life's tough. Someone once told me life is a sexually transmitted disease that's fatal. Like it's tough. It's like life is just tough. No matter how you deck the cards out, you either get beat on all your life or you do the beating. You choose. It's choice, and you not choosing is a choice as well too. It's being chosen for you. So I'm always just here to try to help them keep their mind right. And listen, I want to jump back on that topic really quickly about like, what do I think about that? I also think it's very fucked up. I also think that people need to stop ploying on people's dreams and hopes, because when you want to destroy a world, you want to destroy a nation, suck their hope out of them. Take them to the point where they don't have nothing. You want to see someone who will do anything that's really fucked up, take everything from them. And like, we're doing that to people all the time. Like, when someone has that hope and drive and they save up all this money to get better, and they're not someone who doesn't want to actually work, but they really try, and someone cons them into the wrong thing because they feel like that's the person they want to be, and they get fucked. Man, oh man. Listen, that happened just not too long ago, and I even jumped into it. I don't ever get caught into this type of internet. I say back of it, but like, I got an email from someone who told me like he couldn't even pay his groceries. And I just was like, I gave my 2 cents. I'm like, listen, that's your own fucking fault too, guy. Like, don't think you're not to blame here. You put yourself in financial ruin like an idiot.
Nobody put a gun to your head.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, people are fucked up. But that's in every business. You have to understand, in business, it's cutthroat. That's just how business is. And when you go out there knowing that it is war, I think you have a better thing. Listen, I don't think any human being with really good common sense has ever not knowingly been fucked. Like, I've even gotten to deals where I'm like, God, this one might backfire. I at least knew there was a chance, but I did it because maybe the risk-reward ratio was worth it. But I at least knew it. I didn't go and be like, oh my God, you got me. Like, if it makes the hair on your arms raise up and you don't got to do nothing and like, I got the good life, pass.
If you had to describe your success with one word.
Grit.
You just never giving up, just going after it, going after it. I hear you, man. I love it.
It doesn't, like, listen. I ain't like a muscular guy, but I can tell you right fucking now, no trainer, no eat right, no nothing. If I grab a dumbbell every single day and I pump my bicep every day, that bitch is gonna get bigger. It's gonna get bigger.
True.
Period. Now, granted, if I've got the right supplements and the right know-how and the right trainer, can I get a big arm? Nope, if I don't got the grit. It has to be the foundation. Like, because here's the thing, is what people don't forget, people forget as they go. Like, complacency is a bitch. Like, people actually, a big reason people aren't successful is they quit too soon. Because they get complacent. Like, that fire they had to like pay off their bills or do this thing, now they paid them off. Now what? Well, if you don't got grit, you fucked. And so for me, it's always been that. Like, in fact, like when I educate someone, I prefer them to not know anything about e-commerce, because then I don't have to like retrain. Now it's not like a pissing match. Like, I know better than you. No, you don't.
Their bad habits and all that.
Just like, you just paid me $50K. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm here with you for a fucking year. I have to see you every day. Can we have a good relationship? Just listen to what I'm saying. Like, if you want to go do that on your own time. I'm showing you what I know.
And I could never understand. I don't care if it's personal training. I don't care if it's whatever coach, coach, mentor, mentee relationship. If you're going to pay me to help you, then shut the fuck up and follow what I'm telling you to do.
Yes, and on top of that, I actually love that you brought that up about the mentee. Let me tell you something that's super funny and how we know we're fucked as a country. We will never bat an eye getting a basketball coach for swimming lessons for our kids, to get a guitar lesson. But because we don't mind to admit that we suck at guitar, or we suck at singing, or we fucking suck at pool activities. But to get a personal development or an educator to help you in your life and business, it's the most scrutinized thing in the world. Why? Well, because you're now telling a human being, they have to admit that they're not doing something that's of value to get them in their life. And like, I like to be bold about everything I do. And I say these statements all the time. You're exactly where you deserve to be. But if you're losing in life, what's a singular version of losing? You're a loser. Like, it's supposed to hurt just like a jail is supposed to be shitty. People praise winners. That is a winner right there. But we don't say, hey, you're a loser right now. You're losing. Do something about it. People think that being a loser is like a title in your life. Yeah. But it's just a current state that you can...
It's not a defining moment, man. You know, and here's for the audience and people who are watching this. You know, looking at your story, looking at everybody else's story, my story, and everybody else, you know, you have to understand that in life, there's the difference between battles and wars.
Yep.
Okay? You're not going to win every battle.
Correct.
But as long as you win the war,
yep,
that's all that really counts.
Yep.
So, you know, just because you lost a couple of battles, that doesn't mean you lost a war.
Absolutely.
You know, and, you know, that's where the grit comes. That's where the grit comes. And I can't tell you how much that means to me, you know, and everybody else, because I think the audience, you know, have to hear that.
Yeah, well, and I just like being real. Like, listen, there are people in the world who have stumbled onto money, who have figured some crazy thing out. But I'm going to tell you right now, the plurality of people who have made a good life for themselves have done it over hard work and grit. And like, you have to have it consistently. Like right now, if I was complacent and I just gave it all up, I could fall faster than people who worked at McDonald's. Because look what I have to lose. Yep. Like, the idea that it never stops. Success is a state of mind. It is living in chaos. You know why you have this beautiful home? Is because the 4 hours a day you get of your free time of life or whatever it may be, well, that's including sleep and family time, like, it should be uncomfortable because you live in chaos. You learn to train your body. Yeah. No matter what, life is chaos. I'd much rather cry in a Gulfstream than on a fucking coach seat in the very back. I mean, that's just the truth. And people don't want to admit it. They think that like liking nice shit doesn't make them humble. No, it doesn't make you modest. I don't give a fuck if I'm modest or not. I have a watch full of diamonds. I obviously don't give a shit. But I'm damn humble about it. Like, I think a car is just another thing. In fact, most of my friends take my shit on all occasions. Like, hey, bro, you're single. I know you're trying to lock this out with this girl. You want to take a little whip, you know, nice date? You're like,
I've done that back in the day, man. You know, my friends and I remember, you know, borrowing my friend's Mercedes, and I got a funny story to tell you. This is the first time I think I've seen this camera, but this is a funny story, man. I remember I was training this guy who was very wealthy, right? And we went to San Diego, and he had a bodybuilding show. He had an M5 and a Rolex. You know, I was a poor college student, right?
Ready.
And, you know, poor college student, right? And this is, you know, I don't care if this is a true story, right? So I'm in San Diego. I'm like, his name was Darren. I go, Darren, you have to go to sleep. Tomorrow's your show. I don't have to go to sleep. I'm like, can I borrow your M5 and can I borrow your Rolex? So he goes, okay. He goes, just don't crash anything like that. I said, no problem. So I borrowed his M5, I had his Rolex on, but I'm by myself. Like, I can't go to a club by myself. So I fucking pulled up to the strip club, bro. I pulled up to the strip club. I'm sitting in the strip club, the girls are coming around, you know, and the girl's sitting right next to me. I'll go, oh, you see the time? Oh shit, is this really the time? I'm like putting the Rolex in front of the girl. Because I'm just totally fucking flossing, right? Yeah. So I convinced this girl to go to dinner with me, right? I told the girls to go to dinner with me. I said, yeah, man, like, you know, she goes, I can't leave with you because they'll frown upon that. Yeah. But meet me in the parking lot across the street, you know, we'll go to dinner, you know? And I'm fucking telling her, I'm like, yeah, dude, we're going to dinner, right? I'm just checking out in a fucking, you know, in a M5. She gets in the car, right? She gets in the car. She goes, hey, what's HAI? All right, what do you mean? HAI, what is it? What do you mean? Because it's on your license plate. I go, oh yeah, that's one of my companies. Like, I had no idea what the fuck HAI was, man. So,
it's like your buddy's initials.
Bro, it's one of his companies, man. I like totally was like, she was like, what do you mean? You know, it's on your. I was like, oh yeah.
That's so funny.
I was fronting like a motherfucker, man. So You were that friend I was borrowing shit from.
Yeah, I mean it's just you know, like I look at it like this. So many people want nice shit. They don't really want it because they don't want to work for it. They want it in their dreams and their ideas, but they want it for the wrong reasons. You know, like if you want a Rolls Royce to get that girl to be the cool kid in your town, like listen, the Rolls Royce will age. It's gonna break down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be less cool. And if you build your life based around this fucking innate
Identity,
object, like what happens when it's broke down and lame?
You go away. You go away.
You
Your
broke down and
identity's
lame.
gone. Yeah.
They're just things like, listen, nice shit are byproducts of a good life. You know, I drive a nice car because you know how many times that Rolls Royce has broke down on me? I've owned 5 different ones in 6 years. It's been in the shop that many times. 0. You know, I like the comfortability. And just like you said about your valet, you find me one person who doesn't like when people treat them nice, and I will find you a motherfucking liar.
Yeah, true.
Like, okay, you treated me nicer because of my car. I'm cool with that. Like, there's something wrong. Like, you should, listen, I'm not here to change the world. People need to stop being the poster child for social injustices. Like, that's not fair. Cool, you're not the person.
Life is not fair. Life has never been fucking
Life
fair.
has never been fair. Get over it. Act accordingly.
Yeah.
Like, because fair is an opinion. What you think is fair, someone else doesn't agree with.
So Chase, if you just go back right now and you have $2,000 to $3,000 in your bank account, that's it. That's all you got right now. How would you go by building your empire?
You know, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again because it's all about consistency with me. I would spend the majority of the money educating myself, getting in whatever arena that I want to learn in. Because in business, no matter where you go, what field you're gonna do, money is the fuel, the blood that will get it going. So you're gonna burn money. So if you're brick and mortar, internet business, doesn't matter, you're gonna burn money. If you're not educated, you're fucked. Because spending money to build something without direction is like giving an infant an AK-47 and saying, hit this one target 200 feet down there, you got 50 shots. The chances are the exception. Plan on the rule.
So basically you say,
learn.
educate yourself.
Yeah, and so listen, the world is out there. First off, what you can do is you can engulf yourself in the free type of stuff. You know, like
YouTube.
Yeah, get the basic understanding so that, and here's what I would do. I would go to get the basic questions, like start tripping and falling. Set up, like if you want to learn econ, set up a Shopify. It's not hard, free trials. You start doing this stuff so that when you actually pay, say you come to someone like me, and you're gonna pay, you're actually gonna put your money where your mouth is, that you have an educated set of questions so you can get value. Listen, me, even at the level I have, which I still think I'm just a little bitch in the sea, when I go and see the people that I want to meet, I already have a list of questions for them. If I go to an event, when I first met Andy, I took my tiny little frame and I linebackered through people and I had all of my questions. It's why we became friends. It's because they're like, damn, this guy was prepared. I will pay, and I do pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in personal growth and education every year because I know that it will pay off for me when the people in the room are there, I can ask them. Like, think of that. Like, I'm in masterminds that are $100,000 and $200,000 a year, but like think of who else is in that mastermind. They also paid $100,000 or $200,000 a year. Like people forget that's the ecosystem. People always ask me why I do this. You've got this money, why do I do this? And like other people like give these great answers of like, I'm here to save the sedan. Like, nope, not me. I'm here for my seat at the table. I know what real power in this world is. And I asked a very wealthy, affluent, not just rich, powerful, you know, like Koch brother powerful, like moves countries around. And I asked him, I'm like, I want that seat at the table. And I want to bring all my people with me. I want a whole new table. Like listen, who doesn't want to be able to get out of trouble when you get in trouble? Who doesn't want to have connections to take care of things? Like, and I asked how you get that. And they said, give so much value to people that when the time you ask for it in return, it's not even a question. You've built a family. They're like, look at all you've done for me.
That relationship equity.
And people are like, well, you make all this money, you waste your time doing this stuff. Like, because you, once again, look at life as this tangible, finite right now. What I get right now. It's like, yes, I make less money, even if someone pays me 50 or 100 grand for a very intensive education program, than me just running my stuff. But what happens from that is I bring another human being that is probably already a badass, who becomes a super badass. And now they wear our brand, they wear our family, our community. And now we're not just powerful here, we're powerful as a community. And like, that's what really changes the masses. Like in our group, what's really cool is, you know, we're like 40,000 people strong. In our group, it's like, you can go to pretty much any hotel anywhere, we've got someone who works for one of them. You know, you can go any Avis, I mean, you can go restaurants, and our group is more now like, hey, I'm going to Miami and we have hookups. Like, I got a place, you want to stay there? And like, it literally brings a tear to my eye, and I mess with it. And people are always like, well, why don't you drop something that's like cheaper, you know? Like, and I'm like, well, you get what you pay for. Like, I don't know how to teach people, and that'd be me lying to teach them what I don't know. Like, I teach you exactly what I do. It's why our programs have blown up, solely because I have to see you every week. Like, you have to see me and I have to see you. And that's what we call it, the eye-to-eye business. And it's like, I believe when you actually care about a human being and they can feel that you care, they make change. And it's one of the greatest things. So if you're gonna get into any space, be annoying to the leaders. Engulf yourself in. People confuse the word persistency and annoyance all the time. I think they're the same thing. Be persistent as fuck. It's annoying when someone's persistent, but be persistent. Eventually, you're gonna catch that person in the right mood and they're gonna respond to you and they're gonna be like, go. Because that's all it is. Listen.
The same as grit.
Yup. Be at the bat. Like, go at bat to hit bunts and singles. Just get on base. Because when you're on bat, one time, a home run, a grand slam's gonna be there, and you're gonna smoke that bitch out the park. Yeah. But if you're not showing up at bat, or you're only showing up in hopes for that, it's never gonna happen. Yeah. You look at Warren Buffett. He said that, over like 50 years of trading, that if he missed like 20 days in the market, he would be an average trader. You have to be engulfed in your space, and you have to be resilient. Like, if you're gonna get into any field,
in your space, man,
you gotta be it's like, I love it. People
go all in.
People, if people put like fun next to like building something, I'm like, let's go here and build it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So you said, if you had $2,000 right now, the way you will build your legacy is by just educating yourself, right? Educating yourself, let's say, you start with the free stuff first, and then later on, maybe some paid stuff when you have all your questions done together. Give me some specific, give me some specifics.
So now you got your information. You're like, you feel good about it. You go to Shopify, set up a free trial. You're in. You got to put a credit card up. It's a free trial. What you do is you're going to go, first things I would do is I would just go on Facebook, and for like the next 7 to 10 days, I would look at products. And the products you want to run on the internet are products that have wide-ranging audience appeal, and they're ever-reaching. So, like a collar for a Rhodesian Ridgeback from like Alhambra is probably not the right thing, but like a shoe insole, great product, or like a hair product, a great product. Also, call to action products, things people think about all the time. Like, if you got scrawny ass arms like mine, you want to make them bigger every day, right? If you're overweight, you want to be thinner every day. So picking the right product, and that is key, because you can have the best ads, the best store, the best everything. Wrong product, you'll never make money. So you got your store, you find your product, because you've searched the internet, it's out there. Don't reinvent anything. Copy. Take a product that's out there, the page, the flow, and just change it up a little bit. It's been happening since the beginning of time. There was one big finance company, and then people built them in their towns, regional ones, and then they built even smaller ones, So once you have that, then start learning the basics of like Facebook. Get a Facebook account up. You go to facebook.com, you go to the /advertising, and now your Facebook account that you didn't even know has an advertising side to it. And now what do? Well, you find some information about running ads, you put your first ad up. Even if you don't know shit about it, set the budget for $5. Yeah. Guess what happens? When you put your money in, it pays to pay attention. Yeah. It's like your gym membership. Yeah. When that bitch is a trial, you're like, I ain't going, kicks into pay, and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go. Yeah. Force yourself to do it. So now you have a Shopify page that basically is a plug and play that puts everything together, okay? You know what product to run. You go to like a site like AliExpress or Oberlo or Dropify, and you get these products. Now you can get them for China, or you can type in like UPS and it will show you products that are fulfilled in the United States. So now you got your page, now you got your ads running, you got your product picked, now you're off to the races. Are you gonna make millions? Absolutely not.
But you're gonna learn the skills.
There it is. All I want people to do is make their first dollar sale, because now they're invested. They've seen.
Once you made your first sale, then you scaled it.
Correct, because there's no difference from. Let me explain something, and this is what is going to shock most people. The only difference from someone just starting or like running one store at $5K a day and me is I run a shit ton of stores, and I understand what it takes to run one store successfully, and I just hire people to plug and play them. So it's like, once you have those things, now you start running and you're like panicking it's not working. Well, now start doing some retargeting. You don't know what retarget is? Fucking Google it. You need some more help? Look for more intense programs that. Holy shit, email sequence? It's the same thing. Listen, why is Nike a huge brand? Because it's all over your fucking face always. Like, there are 3 types of buyers, okay? People who will buy right away, People who will say, fuck you and never buy. And then everybody else in the middle.
That needs to be indoctrinated.
Correct. And most people fit in the middle, meaning they need to see your stuff several times before they build business.
It's like built to know you, like you, and trust you.
Yes.
So if they don't know you one time, it's not built 2 times, 3 times. I said, what is it average? 7 to 10 times?
Yeah, it's like 7 to 13 times someone's seeing yourself and retargeting. But it can go huge. But here, you said something there and you grazed over because you're successful and smart, and it's just common knowledge to us. You get a sale because someone trusts you, okay? You keep a sale and you keep business because you're also good. But all you have to do is get a sale is to get someone to trust you. You're either trusting that the product does what you say it is, you're trusting that the family is what it is, that it's gonna do what it is. Like, it's trust is being enabled. That I'm gonna put my credit card in, my emotions are now open to you to let you come in and give something, I'm trusting you with this to purchase. That is already a huge feat. So when you're trying to convince someone to buy something they don't want, now you just add a layer. When you're not following up when you hit them one time, you're hindering yourself. And that's why listen, I can always say, like, I can close with this, like, people who don't look at this right are letting a fuck face like me win in life. Because the only difference for me and a kid just starting is they don't put the time and effort in it because they think Bugattis come tomorrow. It's like, you can have a store that's doing $5K a day, break even. And you're like, all I'm doing is just cycling around the toilet. And then all of a sudden the retargeting kicks in like a month, you're making 40% ROI doing the exact same thing. Well, why? Because you've indoctrinated trust into your people. They've seen it. They've seen it. Why do you think people come? I've never spent $1 in media in the Watchers brand. Why do people give me $6,000, $30,000, and $50,000 with literally me not having to sell anything? Because they followed my brand and my message, and they're like, there's no way this guy can be full of shit.
Yeah. Well, that's freaking amazing, man. That is amazing. You know, Chase, for those people that for whatever reason haven't heard about you, don't know what you do, I just want you to take a minute. You know, how can they find out more about you, what you do, and what programs you offer?
Yeah, awesome. So you can find me on Instagram's the easiest way, at Chase Hero, ChaseHero, like the Superman, just much more dainty. Yeah, and we run a brand called The Watchers, thewatcherseye.com. And essentially what it is we have an incubator and a higher level, but this isn't for someone who wants to spend 20 minutes working. This is for real entrepreneurs who really want to work. And we've created an ecosystem that dives into our life and our day-to-day activities. Essentially, you are going to be completely wide open door into how we run our business. Like, people come to me, ask me all the time to like teach them this and that. I'm like, I don't know that. I know exactly what I know. Yeah. I just know this field of stuff. And so for us, and it's an application, like, you cannot just go be a part of it. Like, I want to make sure the person that comes in is family. Not only are they going to work hard, but they're going to be family. Because, like, you're in my home where my kids sleep. I mean, you can talk to Chad and everybody. They all have my gate code to my homes. Yeah. They know exactly where, and they walk in my home just like it's a college frat house.
And the thing is, if there's no vibe there, it's not about even the money. Because I mean, dude, it's like, dude, you make a little bit of money from it, but you want to create a family and movement. You want to make sure somebody's there to do the fucking work as well.
Yeah, and I want to like the people I hang out with. I'm sure you don't want to hang out with a bunch of fucking people you don't like. And so, like, just because you have money and you can afford my program doesn't mean that, like, I want to vibe with you. I also run a humongous company. My education development company is not even 10% now. It used to be 5%, but not even 10% of what my whole company is. But, like, when you pick the right people and the right group, we vibe like it's the craziest thing ever. Like, we go on trips all over. Like, it's not even just like an education platform. It's like a single company and everyone's kind of division of that company. And it's working amazing. And we just set it out. We actually went out really quickly, but we went out just to prove the industry that it could be done. We only plan on doing our program for 1 year, one time, just kind of like a middle finger to all the people who said it couldn't be done. And we had, out of the 50 people we had like 12 people that made it recurring. They were making over multiple millions a month in revenue from people who knew fucking nothing about the space. Some kids could barely even afford to be there, and they lied to me and conned their way in, but they showed up and survived. So honestly, my entire life mission right now is to just prove that what society has painted in the box actually doesn't exist. Yeah. It's just what someone else who you thought knew better than you said so. And I always say, who says? I promise you they were just another person that didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. So just be you.
It's crazy, man. So there you have it. Chase Hero from a criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, like a convicted felons.
Yep.
Right? That had all ups and downs, trials and tribulations. Literally, he'll tell you he was a fucked up person.
Yep.
He made some wrong choices. All he needed is one break.
Yep.
And he got that break while he was trying to run some ads, fell asleep, thought he was fucked up, but then he saw a little opportunity.
Yep.
And then he exposed that opportunity to the max to a figure of $700,000. No,
700 million.
700.
I'd be like, that would have been a bad lifetime. It's all debt. I swear to God, it's all that rolls out there as a Chrysler 300.
We'll edit that.
I'll take it. Even makes it more intense.
To a figure of $700 million in online and e-commerce sales, and now you're just growing your brand. Now you're teaching others the exact blueprint of what you do.
Yep.
Chase, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate not only for what you represent, your story, and also for now helping others achieve the American dream.
I appreciate it. I'm
Thanks,
humble
brother.
and respectful.
Thanks for being on the show.